morning to all my students, especially for the section 1 and section 2 for the subject industrial engineering. So this week we are going to learn about the new topics. Okay, it's about the work study. So this is a work study. Okay, so we have to learn about the time study. So what is the time study in between direct time study, and also we call it as activity sampling or work sampling. And then what is the job work designs? Okay. And last but not least, a principle of the motion study. Okay. So this is a new chapter. Okay, we begin on the what is a work study. Okay. So work study is one of the discipline that focus on the better ways of performing a task, either a task or jobs. Okay. So please remember, the work study is discipline focused on the better ways performing a task or jobs. So this is work study involve a time study. Ah, So time study is to control the output quantity by setting a standard time for the task in producing the outputs. Meanwhile, for the work design, we want to improve the processing methods. So this is a differentiate between a time study, work design, and generally what is a work study. So as you can see in this figure, this is a design, work design. As you can see here, this is operator will be here. Okay, this is grinding tables, grinding wheels. And nearest from the operator is one of the empty box, complete Unix, full box, Qts. Okay, then we want to arrange again. We want to design again this workstation or work units in proper way. So it's meaning that okay, this is operator will be here, this is operator will be here, and drop hole will be in the center lines, and table and shaft at the same level of the work shaft. Grinding wheel will be here, grinding table will be here, cube will be here. So located in center. Okay, whether we have a right hand, okay, right hand, okay, this is right hand, and whether we have the left hand, this is left hand. So please imagine that we are here in the center. So our right hand will be focused on this task. Example, reach and representation of the handles, or slide to the grinder, or grind, slide to center and drops. This is focused on the right hand. Meanwhile, for the left hand, we are focused on the reach to the preposition handle, slide to grinder, grind, and slide to center and drops. So each of the both hand, either the right or left hand, they have a specific function. This is why we want to improve the processing method. Okay, so it can be save a time study. Many ways. Okay, later on I will touch. Okay, time study. Please remember, they are different between a time study and also the work sampling. So time study, we focus number one first. So what is a time study? The observation of the labor standard time based on the work sampling or work samples. So average time is used in setting the standard. So in order to get the average time, we can using a stopwatch, time study, historical times, predetermined data, work sampling. And in order to calculate or in order to performing a time study, so we have to require a trained and experienced peoples for the analysis the time study. Uh, okay, so in order to get this data, okay, collection at the work sites, okay, when you are performing a time study, you can either using a stopwatch or historical times, predetermined data, or work samplings. Later on, I will touch about that. And in order to calculate the time study, there is a 8 step. Okay, the first one we have to determine or define a task job to be performed. So we want to observe the sequence of the job task. Okay, the number of the job task sequence. So number one, task one, step number two, step number three, until to step number at the end of the steps. Number two, we want to distribute the task into specific elements. Uh, And number 3, we want to measure a time average for each of the element. This is very important. And then number 4, we want to record a time and performance ratings for each elements. And number 5, we want to compute what is the average cycle time. Actual time adjust for the unusual effects. And number 6, we want to determine what is the normal time for each specific element. Okay, please copy down this formula first. Okay. Okay, please copy down this formula. This is normal time. Okay. We can assume NT. So equal to average actual cycle times. So we need to times with the rating factor. So this is we want to calculate or determine the normal time. Please remember this formula only for the work study. Okay, a time study. Okay, this formula for the time study. Time study. And number 6, 7, we want to compute what is the standard time after we calculate the normal time. So please copy down this formula. Standard time, or we call it ST. So the standard time equal to normal time divided by 1 minus 2 allowance factors. Then the last step, we want to sum the total normal time for each element in order to develop the total standard time for the task. Okay. So please remember there is a 8 step in order to calculate the time study. Okay, done. Copy this formula. Normal time and also the standard time. Okay. And this is example for the time allowance. Okay. So in order to regard for the allowance times, sometime in the question, they're given to you a personal time allowance. Might be 4 until to 7%. Okay. Times to total times. For example, for the restroom, water fountains, and others. Meanwhile, for delay allowance, based on the actual delay. And fatigue allowance might be 4% times to total times. Okay, don't worry about these things. See? So in the question they're given to you directly, the time allowance or delay allowance or fatigue allowance. But you have to know how we want to calculate the fatigue allowance, personal time, and also delay. Fatigue allowance is compensate for the physical or mental strains such as a noise, lateness, heat, humidity, abnormal positions. Okay, and then we also have the example. Okay, they given to you example, constant allowance, personal allowance, they give it to you 5%. Basic fatigue allowance, they give it to you 4%. And variable allowance can be standing allowance 2%, abnormal position 2%, accord bending posture, very accord lying or lying and stretching 3%. The example, okay, example to calculate the allowance. Okay, okay, let's we go to the our example. Okay, I give it to you. Please copy down first. 2 or 3 minutes. So please copy down this table. O element, take a class, cycle time. They give it to you cycle time 1, cycle time 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. You can refer to the slide note that are given to you at the outer, or you just want to copy down a simple one. Okay, so element, task 1, task 2, task 3, task 4, and task 5. Okay. Okay, in order to calculate the what we call it a time study, so please look at on these questions. So this is time study data. Sometimes they call it as a work sampling. Work sampling, they another example, another formula. So please do not confuse between a time study versus to the work sampling. So this is time study data are taken by stopwatch. Okay. So how do we calculate these things, cycle times? Okay, let's say the first task one, okay, we call it as a task one. For example, task one, uh, take a glass. This operator, okay, I draw in order you to understandings. Take a glass, first task one. After they take a glass, task number two, okay, this is sequence. Place on the jig and turn on the machine. Uh, okay, this is a jig machine, for example. I give it to you. And after they lifting a glass, they take a glass here, okay, and then place on the machine. And task number three, okay, task number three, milling operation, automatically run by this machine. And last, task number four, lift a glass and put it on conveyor. So after this, they take a glass, okay, manually from the machine and put it on the conveyor. Okay, let example, I draw the conveyor and put it here. Okay, this is glass. This is conveyor. Okay, so this is task number four. So, and repeat again, again and again. Take a glass, place on the jig and turn on the machine, and milling operation automatically. And last, lift a glass and put it on conveyor. And again. So when as an observer, or we call it as we call it as an assessor, so we observe the task. Task number one, oh, these things. Task number two, they do this thing. Task number three, milling operation. Task number four, lift a glass. And again. So in order to get the cycle time, the first one we get the cycle time will be like this. So take a glass, normally for the cycle number one, it will take 8 seconds. I put the green light. Okay. And then place on the jig. Okay, the time need to place on the jig and turn on the machine will be take 10 seconds. Remember, And the automatically machining operation will be 25 seconds. And last, in order the operator lift the glass and put the conveyor, we will take 8 seconds. And again and again. Again and again. Cycle number two. Cycle number two, it will be different with the cycle number one. 9 seconds. So look at the difference. Cycle number one, we get 8 seconds. Cycle number two, 9 seconds. And task number two, we also have the different with previous one, 12 seconds. And milling pressure automatically, 25. Still constant. And lift a conveyor glass, lift a glass and put it on conveyor, 8 seconds. Until we get the observation, cycle number 3, cycle number 4, until to cycle number 5. So look at on the different. Okay, for the task number 1, different file from the cycle number 1, 2, 3, until to 5. So we get the 8, 9, 8, 10, and 8. Meanwhile, for the task number 2, we get the cycle number 1, 10, 12, 10, 11, and 12. But when we decide it automatically by running by milling operation, okay, run by machine, so it's constant. Also same remain, 25. Why? Driven by machine. We set up the time. Because the human cannot be the same time. Okay, sometimes the first time 8 seconds, second time 9 seconds, another time cycle time 8 seconds, cycle number 4 4 seconds. Because of human is human more on the fatigue or tired some things. Okay, energy by the humans. That's why we have a different for the second time in order to complete the work elements. Meanwhile, for the automatically, if you get the read the automatically run by machine or others, so automatically will be same remain times. Okay, please remember. And leave a glass and put conveyor still manual by human. So it have different 6, 8, and also the 6. Okay. So the question asks you, okay, the question asks you which one? Okay. They given to you a total allowance percent is 50%. Okay. And worker performance rating will give it to you 110%. So question number 1, okay, please determine the standard time. And question number 2, please calculate the labor cost for the each product if the worker wage is 3 ringgit per hour. Okay. Okay, the first thing, okay, please remember our example here. Okay, time study, 8 steps. We have to define a job task, divide and distribute separate element, and measure the average, record a time performance rating, they give it average cycle times, and we want to determine normal time and standard time. So in order to get the standard time, we have to calculate what is the normal time. In order to get a normal time, we need to calculate the average actual cycle time. Okay? Okay, don't worry about that. The first thing you have to do is calculate this average time. So please using your calculator, double check again, is it correct or not? This answer. Okay. So please copy down this example first. Okay, this answer. So make it a 3 column here. Okay. And then the first column is average. Second column is normal time. Third column is the standard time. Okay. How do we calculate the average time for the first side element number 1? In order to calculate the average, so we have to plus 8, okay, plus 9, plus 8, plus 10, and plus 8. Then we divide by 5. Why 5? Because we also have the cycle, 5 cycle only. So we will get the average time for our first 8.6. Boleh padam. Okay. Okay, which one color, which one? Okay. Text only. Okay. Okay. Please using your calculator. Is it correct?
Betul.
Okay, correct. Okay, good. In order to calculate the normal time, please remember this formula, average times 2 rating. So they given to you rating 110%. So we divide by 100, so we will get 1.1. Okay. And I gave it to you a standard time. In order to calculate standard time, normal, okay, divide by 1 minus 2 allowance. So allowance will get this one, 0.15. So meaning that 50% from our question. So we'll get 0.15. 0.15 here. Okay. So for the normal time, we will get 9.46 seconds. And standard time, we will get 11.129 seconds. Please double check for the first work element. Okay. So how do we determine the rating and allowance? From previous, they give it to you allowance 50% and performance rating 110%. So divide by 100. And do the rest for the work element 2, work element 3, and also the work element number 4. So please calculate the average, normal time, standard time. But be careful. Doctor, how we calculate the number 3? Why the number 3 is same number, 25? Due to what? Please remember, as I mentioned earlier, automatically driven by machine or driven by anything by automatically, not human. If human, we need to calculate the average, normal time or standard time. If run by the automatically or by run by machines, so the constant same, average also 25, normal time also 25, standard time also 25. No need to calculate the average normal time and also the standard time. So directly we found the answer 25 directly. So number 4, we will get 7.2 seconds, 7.92, and 9.318 second. Okay. Okay, please do calculate, double check again with your calculator. Is it correct answer? Okay. Okay, clear? Any questions so far? How do we calculate the average time? Okay, divide by 5. If the cycle time, they have a 10 cycle time. So meaning that average time plus minus sum of the total divide by 10. Okay. So average, very simple. Do not make it a mistake. Okay. Any questions so far for the time study? Okay, clear? Amir Faiz, okay? Yes. Ada nak tanya? Silakan. Tak ada, eh? Okay, cantik. Okay. So we calculate the standard time. Okay, what the standard time? Overall standard time or total standard time. So look at on the standard time here. So calculate the overall standard time. We will get 59.682 seconds. So the question number 1, we want to compute the total standard time. Okay. And question number 2, we want to determine a labor cost per product. Okay, in order to get the labor cost per product, please look at the question. They're given to you a worker wage 3 ringgit per hour. Okay, so in order, we call it as 3 ringgit per hour. How do we get this 3 ringgit per hour? So look at, they given to you a worker wage 3 ringgit per hour. Okay. Okay, clear? Okay, so 3 ringgit per hour. Let's say 3 ringgit per hour. We want to determine in second. Okay, so times. Okay, 1 hour, how many seconds? 3,600 seconds. So hour cross hour. So we only get ringgit and seconds. RM per seconds. Okay, please do calculator. 3 ringgit divide by 3,600. Like this. Okay, so we will get the worker wage in ringgit Malaysia seconds 8.33 power of 10 minus 4. Then we calculate the labor cost per product. Okay, the labor cost per product, we bring the total standard time will be here and time with our worker wage here. So second, cross second, only left ringgit Malaysia. So we get the ringgit Malaysia 0.0497. Okay, clear? Easy, right?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah, good. Okay, copy first. So you have to do the cross line, hour and hour cross. Okay, section by section. So what the left unit behind that? So we have to know. Okay, done. Copy. Harif, okay? Okay, Amir, Faiz, okay? Okay, good. Okay, this is example work sampling and time study. Okay, this is some of the figures. So when we look at on the position salespersons, okay, versus the position of the assembly line employee. So this is how the time study work simply divide by percents, for example. So salesperson, let's say, okay, the highest one is more on the sales in the person, 20%, traveling 20% times, paperwork 70%, okay, telephone within the firm 30%, telephone sale 20%, the rest, lunch personal 10%, meeting and others. Compare with the assembly line. Totally assembly line, okay, employee, for example, production operator, something like that. Production works 67%. And the rest, setup, talking 10%, break lunch 10%, date time between tasks 30%, unscheduled tasks and downtime 4%, and cleanup 10% and 3%. So this is different between the salesperson and also the assembly line, the operator. So each of the job, they have their own, what we call as a job task that given for the time study and also the work samplings. Okay, number two. Please remember, there are two type different formula in between a time study. Okay, previously we learned about the time study, and this is the second method, work sampling. Uh, it's different, work sampling and time study. So you have to look at the type of the question, whether they give it to you a work study or time work sampling or time study. Okay. So what is a work sampling? Work sampling standard time is set based on the output and the percentage of the productive time spent performing a task. So it involves observing a worker at random time for the long periods. For example, 1 week, 1 month. And the advantages when we are using work sampling, okay, the less expensive time or less expensive than compared to the time study. And the advantages for the work sampling is observer require a little training compare with the time study that required a much more experience and more training in order to perform their time study. And the advantages for the work sampling, ineffective with short cycle. Due to what? Work sampling only, okay, will be benefit for the long cycle, not what we call is not benefit for the short cycle times. Okay, this is advantages and the advantages the work sampling when we compare with the time study. Okay. Okay, work sampling is used to determining the ratio delay study. Okay, yes, correct. Setting labor standard, number two. And number three, we want to measuring the worker performance. And there are 5 steps in order to procedure to calculate the work sampling. Compare with the time study, that is the 8 step. This is a 5 step versus the work sampling procedure. So how the 5 step is? Take a preliminary sample to obtain estimate the parameter value, number one. And number two, we want to compute a sample size required. Uh, and number three, we want to prepare schedule for observing the worker at the appropriate times. And number four, we want to observe and record worker activity, rate worker performance. And last but not least, we have to determine the how workers spend their time usually in percentage. Okay. And this is a formula for our work sampling. Okay, please copy down this formula. Okay. I use the purple color. So it's different between normal time for the time study versus to work sampling for our normal time calculation or equation. But the standard formula with standard time in between for the work study and also the work sampling. Okay, ini number one, and this is number two formula. Okay, NT. I'm still using normal time. This is standard time. Okay, If the question given to you a work sampling, please remember this formula. How to calculate the normal time. So we have to equal to total working time divide by number of produced. We have to times with percentage of working time and times with rating percentage. So you will get the normal time. Meanwhile, for the standard time, normal time that you get from here, okay, divide by 1 minus to the allowance factors or allowance percentage. Okay, clear? Okay, in order to understanding for better, we need to do this example. Okay, please copy down first. I give it to you 2 or 3 minutes. Just take down for the important values. Okay. Done? Hafiz Faiz, okay? Faiz macam okay je tu. Clear? Okay, look at on the question first. Work sampling study. If you get this question, work sampling study, so you have to know the formula. If they're given to you a time study, so we are using a time study formula in order to get the normal time. This is time study. Please remember, time study question is slightly different with our work samplings. So time study, the formula will be like this. Normal time, actual, average cycle time times 2 rating factor. This is time study. Remember? And then for our work sampling, when we get the work sampling study, so totally different in order to calculate the normal time. And I think the standard time in between the time study and work sampling also the same formula. Okay, they given to you a work sampling study was conducted for 6 consecutive days at the factory. Okay, please remember, a total for 45 observations were made during the 8 hours period for each day. Okay, and look at the 45 observation. They using a tally. Okay, a tally numbers. Okay, this is productive. This is idle. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, until they get some of the 41 for the productive. Meanwhile, based on their observation, okay, they found that only 4 from the 45, the ideal status. So in order to get the percentage, so 91% in productive, meanwhile for the 9% in ideal times or ideal status. Okay, so this is from the observation that we made. And the number unit managed to produce about 3,000 units for 1 week. They're given to you in number of unit in order to manage to produce 3,000 units. And the factory operating 6 days a week. So look at whether a 5 day a week or 7 day a week. Okay, so they given to you a 6 day a week. And the data above include the rating and allowance score. So the rating they given to you 97%, allowance they given to you 50%. Compute this standard time. So how do we calculate this standard time? Please remember what are the formula work sampling. Okay, this is formula for the work sampling. So in order to calculate the compute standard time, first we want to calculate this normal time. Okay, and then this is how we calculate. Okay, first total observation time. So 8 days. Okay, how we get the 8 hours per day? Look at here, 8 hours working per day. Bring it here. Times to 1 hour, how many minutes? 1 hour equal to 60 minutes. Okay. And times to 6 day. How do we get 6 day? 6 day a weeks. So we cross hour and hour here. We cross a day and day also here. So what the unit left only minutes. So we will get 2,880 minutes. This is our total observation time. Okay, clear? I'm using another. Then put it all the value, okay, in our standard formula here. Okay. So we get the total observation time will be bring here. Okay. What is the total output? Total output is 3,000 unit. Where do we get the 3,000 unit? From this thing. Okay, 3,000 unit. And we have to time with productive percentage. And rating factors and allowance. So what is the productive percentage? Look at where? Productive percentage, 91. Productive. Look at on the productive, 91%. So 91%. Okay. Rating score. Which one? Rating score and allowance. Rating score given to you. Rating score 97. Allowance is 50%. 97. Okay, and also 50%. So please, we want a unit, not a percent. We want unit divided by 100. Okay, so we'll get 0.91. Okay, and 0.97. Okay, and 0.15. Okay, is it clear? Then compute the standard time here. Okay, bring all this thing here. Okay, then you will get minute per unit. This is your correct answer. Okay, clear? Any questions so far? Easy, right? Senang je kan? Kalau baca memang tak faham, nak kena keterangkan one by one. How do you get the productive percentage? How do you get the rating score? How do you get the allowance factors or allowance percentage? And how do we get the total output from here? And how to calculate the total observation time? So this is a step. Okay, clear? Any questions so far to all my students? Everything clear? Fully understood? Okay. Okay, good. And this is another example. I'm not touched about the detail. Later on, you can look at one by one. Okay, for this solve the problem. I give it to you. This, for example, A, okay, B and C. Okay, later on you can look at on these things. Okay, so please, for example, what I need to mention here, please carefully to look at the question. Okay, so the question, is it a cycle? Is it a time study or work sampling? Then we found that a time study. So please do remember the formula for time study. Okay, they have given the answer here. So later on you can refer from here. Okay, don't worry. Okay. Okay, and this example. When we look at the example number 1, they given to you rating, allowance, Cambridge Standard Time. So this time is standard time, average time they given to you. Is it a time study or work sampling? Which one?
Time study.
Time study. Yes, correct. And example number 2. Okay, Emirate Consultant conduct work sampling. So please find a keyword, whether a time study or work sampling. Do not make a mistaken, insert for our wrong formula. Okay, so this is a work study sampling. Okay, this example. Okay, So later on, you can refer to our slide in order to get the example that given to you. Okay, so we touch about the job design, more on theoretical. Okay, so what is job design? Why important is job design? So job design is determination of specific jobs. Okay, so in order, for example, we want to design this job as an operator at this a certain of the manufacturing. So the operator job design, or we call it as a job description, and what we call it as a standard of the procedure of the jobs itself. This is what we call it as a job designs. Okay, so job design, what we want to do, what will be done, what to do. The first one, okay, we want to remember in order to design a job, what are the job performings? What are the main tasks? Who will do the job, human or machine? Number two, okay, or involve human plus machine. Okay, and how the job will be done. What a processing method. The step number 1, step number 2, step number 3, step number 4. Okay. And where the job will be done, whether the standing or sitting. Ah. And last, we need to go the look at on the ergonomic. Is it comfort and safety factor? For example, I give it to you this operator. Okay, this operator, they given to you this conveyor. Okay. Okay, we want to design, this is a packaging box. Okay, this is trolley, this is conveyor. Okay, first, the position is operator. Okay, please look at, this is theoretical, operator. So what to do? Apa kerja? What is the job description? The packaging the box. Okay, from here, pallet, this is box, pallet, taking from here, and up here to lift and conveyor packing or QC inspection, for example. I give it a QC lah, QC inspection. Okay. So first thing, what to do? This is normal description job. Picking a box from the floor and taking the box for the QC inspection. And who will do? Human or machine? Totally by human. Okay. And how the job will be done? Processing method. This is a processing method. Step number 1. This is step task number 1. Task number 2. Only task 1 and task 2. So where the job will be done? Standing or sitting? Standing operation. There is no provide by chair for the sitting. So totally is manual handling with standing position. Okay, standing position. And is it ergonomic or comfortable or safety factor? Not ergonomic because due to what we call is a manual handling can cause of the back pain injuries. So this is how we want to design a job. So how we want to design a job for better? Uh, so might be we can suggest this is before. For example, this is before, and this is after improvement or after changing for the job design. So might be we have to provide table lifter, for example. Okay, box will be here. This is human. So no need to bending from this to the another new job design. So you can see this is a comfortable and we consider as an ergonomic design and also job design. Okay, this example. Okay, how we want to design a work system? Okay, based according to this thing. Okay, look at whether the job is specialized. Okay, focus on the one things or behavior approach to the job designs or another team involved or method analysis or motion study and working condition. This is consideration that we need to consider when we design a work system. And job design success factor for successful job design carried by experienced personnel with sufficient trainings, consistent with the goal, mission, and missions of the organizations, and written form. This is very important. If we have a SOP, standard of procedure, or working procedure, okay, or flow chart, how the step by step from the step 1 until to step 11, something like that. Okay, so in written form. So this is how we want the factor for the successful job design. And last, understood and agreed by the management and also the employee. Win-win situation. Okay, this is factor for the successful job design. And for the job specialized, the advantages is for the management, simplified trainings, okay, high productivity, and lower costs. But for the level advantages, in order to job specialize, low education and skill required, minimum responsibility, and little mental effort required. So, what is job specialized? For example, this operator only perform this work area only. For example, uh, QC, just checking. This only in standing position. Let's say from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Every times. Only specialized for the job position, QC works, for example. Quality inspections, okay, quality checks. Okay, meanwhile, for the advantages, when we have the, what you call it, specialized, okay, I draw again, okay, example, give it to you. This is operator. When they are specialized, only focus their specific the things. For the management, difficult to motivate a quality. Yes, for example, this Ali, okay, name as Ali, worker, okay, 10 years in this factory. For the 5 years earlier, a good quality, but after 5 years, might be a quality low quality because due to reason factor of the age factors and fatigues and others. Okay, and worker dissatisfactions, dissatisfactions, apathetisms. Okay, for the MC record, distribute tactics and poor attention to the quality for the management. Meanwhile, for the labor itself, okay, monotonous work. Monotonous work is repetitive work. From the 8 a.m. until to 6 p.m. only do the same work, same task from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. A standing position. Only focus this time. Can expose to the repetitively works, repetition motions. And number two, the advantages of job specialized is limited opportunity for work promotion due to specialized. Okay. And number three, little opportunity for the self-fulfillment due to reason specialized in the job position. If we have the what we call it opportunity to learn another job description, for example, we can do a manual lifting, for example. Okay, we can drive forklift driver, for example. This is forklift. So multitask we have here. Okay, so it can be a work promotion can be guaranteed by the employee. Because due to limited opportunity, single job specializations, so this is a limited opportunity for the work promotion. Rather than we compare the Abu can do perform a three different type of the job. Can drive a forklift, can manual handling a box, and also the existing current. So task one, task two, task three. So get the chance to get the work promotion will be higher. Okay, this is example. And in order to have design a job based on the behavioral approach, we have a three type. The first one, job enlargement. So what is the job enlargement? Giving a worker larger portion of the total task by horizontal loadings. Okay. Job enlargement. Okay. For example, this worker only standing. Okay. So we want to what we call it enlarge the jobs from this 8 p.m., 8 a.m. until to 6 p.m. For example. Okay. So we want to focus. Okay. 8 to 10 a.m. Okay. So you have to like in a data, in computer workstation. Okay, 10 to 12 p.m. Okay, you do what we call it, a trolley here. Okay, transfer and other thing. So we give a worker large portion of the total task given. Meanwhile, for job rotation, worker practically exchange the job. For example, this time, job rotation. Not only the same motion or same repeated again and again. Okay. Meanwhile, for the job enrichment, increase the responsibility for the planning, coordination of tasks by vertical loadings. So this is a differentiate between enlargement, rotation, and job enrichment. So the first thing is we want to avoid the worker fatigues during performing a same job designs. Okay, this is a present job. Okay, for example, manual insert a solder 6 resistor. Okay, example, if we want to enlarge a job, we can given a task number 2. This is task number 1. Okay, the existing task. Task number 2, adherent for the label printed circuits. Or task number 3, lock printed circuit bound into the fixture on the net operation. Enlarge job. Please remember, enlargement job is horizontal loading. This is horizontal loadings. Okay, horizontal loadings. Okay. Meanwhile, for the enriched job, okay, enriched job is vertical loading. Vertical loading. So vertical loading, okay, in order to existing, okay, present the job, manual insert and solder stick resistor. So in order to enrich job, the planning first, participating in cross-function quality improvement teams, or control the test circuit or circuit after the assembly. This is how different between enlarged job and also the enrichment job. Okay. And then job design continuum. Okay, when we expand job expansion from the specialized, enlargement, enrichment, empowerment, and self-directed team can increase the reliance on the employee contribution and increase the responsibility accepted by the employee. When we expand the job from specialized to enlargement, from enlargement to enrichment, to enrichment to the empowerment, to empowerment onto the self-directed team, can increase and reliance for the employee contribution and also the increased responsibilities. Okay, for example, when we have the self-directed team, so the group empower individual working together to reach a common goal. So sometimes we involve the manager, assistant manager, and also the engineer, and maybe organize for the long term and short term objective. Okay, effective. Why effective? For the self-directed team, provide employee empowerment. When you have a decision making to make, whether you want to buy, you want to make a decision making, you want to improve the workstation, you have a power empowerment for the to make a decision makings. And to ensure the core job characteristics, okay, you can design what are the core job characteristics for each other work elements and meet individual psychological needs. Okay, you can look at on specific work tasks, you can design work tasks, okay, and you can reduce what we call as repetitive works, okay. And then to maximize effectiveness, managers should be ensure those who have acceptable contribution are on the team. Okay, and provide management support. Okay, ensure the necessary training. Okay, if needed, and those clear objective and goals, and financial and non-financial reward. This is very important to give a self motivation for the workers. So what's the difference between financial and non-financial? Financial based on given by ringgit. Uh, so the best employee for 2021 or 2023, for example, is given to Ali. So with award 1,000 ringgits as a bonus or as a award. Okay. Non-financial reward. Okay, we have give to you certificate appreciations. Okay, for 10 years working here in our company. None involve the financial. Okay. Uh, so this is how we want to maximize the effectiveness for the direct team. So the manager should be ensure all these things. Okay. And when we come to meta-analysis, another analysis, when we compare the time study, we compare the work sampling. So meta-analysis involve analyze how the job done, begin the overall analysis, and move to specific detail. So this is just a theoretical only, okay? So in our subject, we focus on the time study and also the work sampling calculation. Okay, so this is meta-analysis. The need of meta-analysis can become from the number different sources. Okay, for example, changing a tool equipment, changing a product design or new products, changing a material or procedure, and other factor, accident, quality problem, and others. Okay, so meta-analysis procedure, they have a seven, eh? Okay. Seven methods, seven analysis, seven procedure in order to get the method analysis. The first one, we have to identify the operation to be studied. Number two, get employee input. Number three, study and document the current methods. Number four, analyze a job. Number five, propose a new methods. And number six, install a new method. And last but not least, follow up to ensure the improvement has been achieved. So please remember seven method in order or procedure to calculate the what we call is determine method analysis. So how we want to analyze the job? There are two types, the flow chart process and worker machine process or making chart. So flow chart process, chart used to examine the overall sequence of the operation by focusing on the movement of the operator of flow material. Meanwhile, for the worker machine chart, determine a portion of the work cycle during which an operator and equipment are busy or idle. So we look at this is a flow chart example. Okay, so this is detailed method. They give you details step by step, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until to the end steps. So the right thing is they given to you operation, okay, movement, department, inspection, or delay, or storage. So they given to you this thing, symbol. How we do the symbol, determine the symbol. The symbol have the represent for each description. For example, like this. Okay, the round is operation. The arrow one is transportation. The square one is inspection. This one is delay. Triangle one is a storage. So we have to plot here. One to here, to here, to here, based on our job description. Okay. And from here, we can calculate a distance in feet. For example, the process number one, this thing, transportation, 50 feet in distance. So does it any time in minute? No. Okay. So we also can calculate the time in minute. This is chart symbol. Okay. So this is subject character and info data. The example. Okay, previously in semester final exam, okay, the final exam have come out this question. For example, the question for the flow process chart, they given to you a case study, so you have to draw a flow process chart like this with a chart symbol. So you have to determine previously semester. Okay. And meanwhile, for the flow diagram, okay, from here to here, as I mentioned, from press machine to the storage bin, from storage bin to the machine number one. This is worker one, this is worker number two, and worker number three. Then from the machine number one, move to the machine number two. From the machine number two, okay, move to the machine number three. From the machine number three, go to the machine number four. Until from machine number four, go to the straight for the welding area. And after the welding area, go to the painting shop here. So this is flow diagram. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, step 6, until to step 7. This is what we call it as a flow diagram. Okay. Okay, this is existing before we design, okay, our job design in proper regards to our ergonomic design or time study and work sampling. Okay, and this is after improvement from the press machine. Only from 3 worker, worker number 1, worker number 2, and worker number 3. When we redesign again this workstation, we can eliminate only one worker. We can use only worker 1 and also worker 2 only, rather than compare the existing. Need 3 workers, compare the after we also have only 2 worker only. This is after. Okay. So how will we design? From the press machine, go straight to the storage bin, and we arrange again. From the machine 1 here, machine 2 will be here, machine 3, machine 4, in U shape. Please remember that we learned about the chapter number 2, facilities planning, in terms of the facilities layout, U shape. So U shape, just this worker can operate the machine number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then go straight to the conveyor and straight to the welding area. So welding, go to the paint shop. So it saves the time study, okay, and more ergonomically designed or more safety, okay. So please compare with the existing like this. How many repetitive work here? Rather than we using these only 2 workers involved in our new designs. So it save our budget costing, it save our time study, and it will reduce our fatigues related to ergonomic issues or safeties. Okay, clear? Another principal motion economy study use a human body. Okay, I not touch about detail. Okay, arrangement of the workplace. Okay, if you are using motion of economy study, design a tool equipment. Okay, and developing work method. Okay, eliminate unnecessary motion. Is it necessary or it can be eliminated? Okay, combine activity. Okay, can this activity can be combined with others, such as the previous one? This is combined activity. All activity here, we combine only one workers performing this task. Okay. And then reduce fatigues. Can this activity can improve fatigues? Okay. Okay, when we look at on here, still have a fatigue. Okay, worker have to move around from here and here. Still have a repetitive work. Okay. And then, is it improve the enrichment of the workplace? Yes. Proper sequence of the activity? Yes, proper. From the existing, improper. Okay. And proper the existing arrangements. Okay. And is it improve the design tool equipment? Yes, we're looking on details. Is it the proper person to be doing this activity? Yes. Okay. So rather than, okay, from 3 workers we need, okay, we can compare only 2 workers. Then in order to avoid a repetitive work, we can also do a job rotation. For this one, job rotation 8 until to 12. Okay, job task 1 only. Until to 12 to 6, need to do a task number 2. So this thing, we call it as a task number 1. And welding and paint shop here, task number 2. So we rotate here. Okay, we rotate using job rotation. Okay, so avoid to repetitive works. Okay. And then this is method improvement example from here to here. Okay, the symbol left hand, as I mentioned earlier, right hand will be here. Okay. And from the not arranged properly, we arrange properly. Okay, so we have the left and right hand. For example, these are the combinations. And working condition to be considered, we need to consider when we design. Okay, for example, again, I draw again example to give it to you example. Okay, so please consider a temperature and also the humidity. For example, this room, okay, this workstation room, is it enough ventilation fan or temperature? Okay, the material itself, okay, ventilation, okay, temperature, is it 32 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius? Can cause of the exposed heat stroke, and heat stress. Can be heat stroke, heat fatigues, and others. And we need to consider illumination, lighting, how we want to design this workstation. Okay, okay, this is a view sides, okay, side view. This is lighting. Okay, floor, roof. This is a roof here, and the ceilings. So we need to consider the lighting condition. Is it a direct light? Okay, reflected lights. We need to consider illuminations, and we need to consider color. Okay, based on my experience, I do a job design. Okay, based on color. Sometimes a color might be confused by our employees. Okay, our operator. Okay, we have a case study. Operator cannot differentiate between a green color and yellow color when cutting the what we call it a potato, for examples. So the green color versus to the yellow color is might be similar with the others. Okay, and then noise vibration. Okay, look at on the noise vibration. Is it noise? Okay, in term of our workplace, we also have a NRA, noise risk assessment assessor. Okay, so we consider, is it noise more than our job design here? Uh, Exposed can be hearing loss. Okay, and we need to consider work break. Is it every 1 hour or 2 hours they have a micro breaks? Or it might be a 10 minutes or 30 minutes, okay, for the micro stretching or others. And safety factor, we look at safety hazard. Is it any, and can cause of the accidents? Look at on our operator here, okay. Is it we design a job task, is safety? How about our cable here? Is it any tripping hazard here? Can cause of the slipperings, trippings, and okay, accidents. Okay, and we look at on the machine itself. Is it a safe? Using a proper wear, Google wear, and glove, something. Okay, so we look at on these things based on the safety and health issues. Okay. And that's all for the class today. This is a list of the reference if you want to look at a detail. Okay. Number 1, number 2, and also number 3. Okay. That's all for the chapter today. Any questions so far? Clear? Okay. That's
Clear.
all.